Today we're going to talk about tourniquet placement. What's up, guys? This is Jay with Prepared Citizens, and today we're going to talk about where to place a tourniquet after a traumatic injury. And that is assuming you need a tourniquet. So not every incident will need a tourniquet. But before we jump into it, let me first talk about my experience. So I am a former Army infantryman. During that time in the infantryman, we did this thing called the battlefield first responder. We even learned how to give IVs to each other. It's a very in-depth TCCC medical course. TCCC, for anyone that doesn't know, is Tactical Combat Casualty Care. So basically care under fire, care on the battlefield, right? And then upon getting out of the military, I've done a lot more training. I've also went to Tactical Responses Immediate Action Medical, which is a great class to go attend if you are in the market for that. And I also teach Stop the Bleed courses, and we're about to start teaching TCCC courses once my training grounds get finished. So that is a little bit about me and where I'm coming from with this. So there's been some negative comments online about, high and tight is wrong, and I want to talk about that. So when I'm telling people, a lot of times I will tell people high and tight, on a tourniquet, and that's what I teach in my classes. That's what I was taught. But I've also been taught sustainment stuff too. So we're going to touch base on that. First off, the high and tight is the immediate response to this event. This whether it be on a car accident, battlefield, something, whatever. That is the initial thing to get the bleeding stopping. In training we got tools such as like a pulse oximeter, and you got Dopplers and all these other things to see like if you stop the bleeding. But in the real world, you're actually going to watch the bleeding. That's what you're going to go off of, is the bleeding itself. That's the main focus of using a tourniquet. So, and I'm not going to be pushing any brands, though I do like the ones I sell because they're for family, they're for adults, children, dogs, everything. But anyway, regardless of what tourniquet you're using, it needs to be high and tight initially. After you've applied the tourniquet initially, get the bleeding stopping. If you want to apply a secondary tourniquet for a little bit more sustainment purposes, like the American Red Cross, I think it is, recommends 2 or 3 inches above the wound. That's going to be your standard. And also, when placing a tourniquet, never ever put it on knees or elbows. If you're going below the elbow to the wrist, somewhere in there, or to the shoulder, from the shoulder to the elbow. Never go on a bendy spot. Another thing to keep in mind, with that 2 to 3 inches above the wound, above the injury, never put it on the injury, okay? It's going to depend on the injury itself. Now, I have seen people make like an improvised pressure bandage with tourniquets. So you could put gauze on the injury, pressure, and then put a tourniquet over it to hold pressure. Granted, I highly recommend having a pressure bandage in your kit. That's one reason I like to sell the Slishman pressure wraps. Those things are a wonderful pressure bandage, and they also even could double up and use it as a tourniquet. But guys, please don't take this stuff out of context. Please, ask someone if you're not sure. Take a class. I highly recommend taking a class. The reason that's not taught for TCCC is because, like, let's say on the battlefield, or let's say they took a round right below the elbow. They fell back. They're on their back for a little bit. And let's say blood is just all up through here, okay? And you see blood down here towards their wrist. Well, if you went here, you would be either putting it on the wound, and you can't see the wound yet. And sometimes on the battlefield, you don't have time to rip shears and get someone. Sometimes you may just need to throw a tourniquet on it, and that's why we say high and tight. I guess a myth buster thing, sometimes secondary tourniquets are needed. And if you've controlled the bleeding with the first tourniquet that's high and tight, that secondary tourniquet, once you get a a better look at the wound and what's going on, that's a good opportunity to put that second tourniquet 2 or 3 inches above the wound, and you could release the one above, which honestly, that's one reason I don't jump into that in my classes, is because I do not teach taking tourniquets off. We are not authorized to take them off. We only put them on. You could tighten it, but we never loosen. We don't take it off. That is a big, big no-no. Once you apply that tourniquet high and tight, I teach people, and this is what I recommend, that tourniquet now belongs to the doctor. It's his tourniquet. That's what I try to teach people. I don't want people with minimal training like me, even though I guess I'm considered an expert in this, but I also learn this from experts, what I truly consider experts. And even paramedic, we are not to the point where we need to be deciding to remove tourniquets and all this good stuff, okay? Take that for what it is. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes by saying that. I'm just being realistic. Very important that we don't make an uh-oh that could cost someone their life. So once I get that tourniquet on high and tight and that bleeding stopped, that tourniquet now belongs to the doctor. Guys, I hope this video helps. This is such a broad topic, and I love, this is one reason I love teaching classes, is because, sometimes I get guys who are very experienced still come take my classes, which is awesome because we all learn from each other. But this is just one of those topics that it's a very in-depth topic, and high and tight just simplifies it, okay? It just simplifies it. You're not going to kill anyone. You're not going to cost them a limb. You're not going to, a lot of the myths out there are just kind of goofy. It's the 1 in a trillion type stuff that people bring up. And, like the nerve damage thing, you could do nerve damage with a cat tourniquet. I don't care what it is. It's a very rare thing, and it has happened. It has happened. I'm not saying it hasn't, but it's very rare. Nerve damage, more important to you, or keeping this person alive to live another day to go see their family. I'm telling you right now, if I got a piece of glass shot through my arm and I'm unconscious and someone rolls up on me, I really don't care about the nerve damage, or even if I may lose function in that arm possibly, but I'd rather see my family again, be there to support them. So that's my take on it. Please, guys, I ain't trying to be a smart ass, but it's one of those you do you, because a lot of people are either with what I'm saying or totally against it. And for you that are totally against it, please just stroll to another video. I really, guys, I have a full list of experts, like for real experts, that I get my training and information from. And, it's okay to have a healthy debate. I don't mind that, but I am not going to sit here and argue with grown men on YouTube about some of the silliness that's out there. So, guys, if you want more information on this, please consider taking a class with me, or looking up someone close to you if you're not close to me, and take a medical class. They're very good. I can't recommend them enough. Nothing beats hands-on experience. And guys, if you want a quick reference, on my website, I actually have my the medical PDF manual that I use in class with people. It doesn't go over every detail, but it definitely covers the big stuff. It covers everything we talked about here. That you download it to your phone or computer, and you always got that reference with you. It's pretty cool. It's something I was very happy to put out for my customers, because I think that kind of stuff, at minimum, having something like that is pretty cool. But hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Please let me know any questions if you have any. Let me know if I missed something. Also, if you want to support the channel, please go to preparedcitizenstg.com. Pick up the best flipping medical kits designed for you and your family on the market, and pick up a pre-programmed radio, because comms and medical is the two most overlooked things in preparedness, and those are the two things that I try to cover for people, and I think it's very important that you have both of them. Both of those is stuff you will probably use way more than a firearm. That's the kind of stuff you may use on a day-to-day basis, especially if you have a big homestead, do a lot of outdoor stuff, that kind of thing. And guys, that's all I got for you. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. And as always, remember to be an asset to those around you, not a liability. And I'll see you on the next one. God bless.